3 tactics and strategies that will help you win at LinkedIn and in life.
And welcome back to LinkedIn to Lead Generation with Hannah Ty. And I want to win in life, Hannah, but we're doing a 4-part series on building effective LinkedIn connection strategies. We want to get you leads and make this an effective thing. So what's today's episode about? How do we win in life here?
So today's episode is about creating relationships that really matter and stopping that kind of spammy-like mentality that's really inundating LinkedIn right now. So you want to make sure that these relationships are win-win for everyone. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Excellent. And always we try to break this down into like 3 main takeaways. So let me give you the quick rundown of that. We're going to talk about spreading knowledge and good karma in your interactions. We're going to go all Buddhist on you here. We're going to talk about how to stay top of mind in your LinkedIn connections, and we're going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn etiquette 101, right? Always important stuff. So let's take that from the top, Hannah. What kind of karma do we want to spread here? What kind of knowledge do we want to give here on LinkedIn?
Sure. So in everything that you do, you should always go with trying to create good value for the people that are in your network, in your groups, your connections. Every communication that you do, you want to make sure that there's something in it for them. And as we said in the previous section, you want to make sure that you're personalizing that to, their interests and how it helps them. So that's something you always want to make sure that you're doing when you're developing any kind of content, status updates, group discussion questions, any kind of messages, emails, all those things. On the flip side of that, you also want to make sure that you're rewarding your relationships, your connections that you already have in place, okay, and those prospects by helping them to spread their knowledge to people, right? And kind of really building that foundation of, trust and helping them to showcase some of their credibility, getting some exposure to your network. So when someone in your network is creating something that you think is fabulous, share it, so that they get exposure to your network. And that's just going to create that nice, good karma.
Yeah, I wish I could remember which of the kind of self-help guru giants of the universe had that line that you can always get whatever you want as long as you help enough other people get what they want, and
exactly.
That's really what this is all about, So, and it's also about what we said before. I mean, if I could stamp it across my forehead, I would try to remind myself every time I look in the mirror, always deliver value for the other person. If you don't, you're not going to get any value back. There's no reciprocity to the way it goes. And to me, that's what good karma is, right? If I do right by you, I up the chances you're going to do right by me. So
exactly. And it really, helps people so that, to really start feeling those warm, fuzzy feelings towards you, so that when it is time for, you to ask for that introduction, they're much more apt to want to give you that introduction.
Right, and we've heard this a million times, but this is how it really works. People like to work with you if they know you, they like you, they trust you. What is that based on? It's based on good karma, right? It's based on reciprocity. It's based on, hey, right, Hannah is really helpful at this LinkedIn stuff, I should talk to Hannah about this. I mean,
exactly.
You get all of that goodwill by being helpful. And if you're going to produce information, you're going to put it out there on LinkedIn, then put out helpful stuff that's going to really teach people something. So that's why you're saying spread knowledge, right?
Right.
Great way to go. Okay. Well, let's move forward here then to our next takeaway, which is kind of, we just segued there, right? It's how do you stay top of mind with your LinkedIn connections? So let's go there.
Right. So when you are working within the network, and there's different ways to interact with people, obviously, you want to make sure that you're giving helpful tips and information, so that you're not just randomly sending out some messages that have to do about like you and what you are doing. You want to think again about your prospect. And so I work with sales teams, so I might send something along the lines of, this is a strategy that we are using right now that's really helping us to generate leads. So think about their problems, what are they struggling with, and try and come up with some content that you can send every once in a while. I just, connected a landscaper connected to me the other day, and so I sent him when he asked to connect to me. We started a dialogue, and in the second communication, I said, hey, by the way, I just watched a great webinar on house. House really helps landscapers right now. It seems to be really effective. Here's the link to the webinar.
Right.
So again, you want to make sure that your communications aren't, just full of fluff. So when I actually then say to him, hey, I'd love to sit down with you for 5 minutes and have a cup of coffee, would you mind? He's much more apt to want to talk to me.
Absolutely. It always cracks me up because, obviously I'm involved in content and content marketing, and you run into people who are almost kind of like selfish about their knowledge or selfish about their content, and
Right.
you're a great example of the opposite of that. People often fear, hey, if I give it all away, if I teach it all, in my LinkedIn posts and in the articles I write, then why is anyone going to hire me? Why is anyone going to work with me? And the opposite is so true, right? Is that, you're going to teach as much as you possibly can about LinkedIn here, but you haven't met me personally yet. Well, you've met me personally, but you know what I'm saying. You're not met, our viewer right here is watching.
Right.
Hasn't met, so you can't actually help them tweak their individual profile until they come and get in touch with you. So all of this great information you're giving them helps them know, like, and trust you, and realize, oh, well, of course I'm going to pick up the phone and call Hannah. Of course I'm going to go to chatterboxsocialmedia.com and connect with Hannah, because she's showing me that she knows her stuff. Your unique selling proposition is all over every one of these videos, all over all of your posts. Everyone else needs to be doing that too. If you're afraid that your value isn't going to show, then you
Right.
better go work on your value, because eventually you're going to just burn every bridge if you don't have the skill. So let it all hang out. Let it show. Show your knowledge and expertise, right?
Exactly.
All right, and you'll get that good karma, right?
Good karma. Spread it
All right,
around.
so let's go from karma to etiquette, because that's a very big part of this too. How you deliver your information, how you behave on this forum has a lot to do with whether people are certainly, well, they're going to get to know you if you have bad etiquette, but you don't want to be known that way, and they're certainly not going to like you or trust you. So what do we need to know about LinkedIn etiquette?
Right. So, gratitude, right? We all talk about gratitude, and most of us are so busy with the details that sometimes we kind of forget about things like that. But you really want to make sure that you are, spreading gratitude when people are liking, sharing your comment or your comments. I can't even talk today. I'm sorry. Sharing, liking your content.
There you go. Excellent.
On the network. Yes. You want to make sure that you reach out to them and you say, hey, glad you found that helpful. And start furthering the discussion, maybe even,
Mm-hmm.
You can say, how are you seeing this working, or, whatever, so that you're really trying to, form that relationship and move that along.
Such a great point, Hannah, because look, the person just literally raised their hand and said, hey, this is relevant to me. Are you going to really miss out on the opportunity to follow up with that person and say, great, I'm glad that was helpful. Maybe I've got other helpful stuff for you.
Right, and it just shows, again, it's just built, people like to be acknowledged. Really?
Right.
So, make sure that you acknowledge someone when they go out of their way to, that's 5 minutes or 10 minutes to write a response that they didn't have. Okay, so you have to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
When you ask for an introduction to somebody, again, always give them the out so that they don't feel pressured.
Mm-hmm.
So that you say, I'm not sure if you know this person well enough, but I noticed that you know John Smith. Would you mind introducing us? And this is why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
And then why? So you're not just gonna you let them know that you value their relationship and you're not gonna betray that.
Right.
Okay. And then if they do, say, hey, thanks so much. This was great. And by the way, how can I return the favor? Or even better yet, put that in the message.
Mm-hmm.
Say, I know you're really busy. I'd really appreciate it if you could do this. If you don't have the time, no worries. And in the meantime, is there anyone I can introduce you to?
There you go. Absolutely. Again, build that reciprocity in right from the front. Don't be selfish. Don't be a taker.
Right.
Reassure that person that you respect their pre-existing relationship with that other person. Yeah, all good etiquette stuff, all good, just basic social skills that a lot of people don't have, right?
Exactly.
Or they have, but they lose in this online medium, and that's why you and I keep saying to people, remember, in your mind, you're in an actual room with real people, talking to real people, shaking hands, making connections. If you wouldn't do it face-to-face, then don't do it on LinkedIn, right? So.
Right, and the same thing with recommendations. When someone takes the time to recommend you, wow, I mean, you need to make a big deal about that, that they,
Yeah.
you know, did that for you, and again, offer to return the favor, or not even return the favor, offer to make an introduction, or start paying more attention to some of the things that they're doing, and, you know, sharing their content, and, you know, helping them to grow in business as well.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, be a good neighbor, be a good citizen of this community. Somebody does a nice turn for you, then do a nice turn back. It doesn't, like you said, I like what you said, it doesn't have to be one for one just because you gave me a recommendation. Doesn't mean I have to force myself to give you a recommendation, because maybe I haven't actually worked with you. I know you, but I haven't actually used your service, so it wouldn't make sense. But there's something else I can do. I like what you're saying. You know, make an introduction, you know, there's any number of ways that you can sort of build that relationship to the next level as a way of saying thank you. So yeah.
Right.
So yeah, LinkedIn 101, etiquette, LinkedIn etiquette 101. Any other thoughts about etiquette before we move on then?
No, that's pretty much it.
Well, we've been talking, obviously, about building great communication strategies so you can do the most important thing that you're doing here, which is ultimately build business, get leads, build your network in a way that makes you relevant. If you missed any of the earlier parts, this was a 4-part series on that whole theme, so you got to go and you got to connect with Hannah, right? And then you do that by visiting her at her website, chatterboxsocialmedia.com. And there's not just the other videos in this series, but there's other series, there's blog posts, there's articles, there's all kinds of good stuff. And of course there's Hannah there. There's how to get in touch with her, how to work with her. If you want to get personal in terms of figuring out how to apply all these general principles to your specific stuff, well, then you got to actually get personal, you know, and you can email her, you can call her, you can talk to her. So to recap what we covered in this part of the series here, we've been talking about, you know, tactics and strategies that really help you succeed. And I love the way you say it, not just in LinkedIn, in life, and that's the point. These are life skills that you just bring into your life on LinkedIn. So we've talked about spreading good knowledge and good karma by being a good contributor of relevant, helpful information, staying top of mind by doing that, by being a resource and an expert in your niche, and then having good basic social skills and etiquette, which people seem to lose sometimes when they get there. So that's been this episode. It's all about building this great communication strategy. So again, chatterboxsocialmedia.com is where Hannah lives. She literally lives there. She never leaves. She's there 24/7, right, Hannah? So until our next series, Hannah, this has been great. I love the way you share your knowledge and expertise, and you walk the walk.
And karma.
And karma, yes, karma. And it's going to come back to you, that's for sure. So until next time, Hannah, thanks for all this great information.
Thanks, Mark.